Show on Salt and Light Radio. It's time to start your day the Catholic way. Morning Light is 1 hour of live local information and interviews, along with news, traffic, weather, and sports from the Treasure and Magic Valleys. The Salt and Light Catholic Radio Network now presents Morning Light with your hosts Brian Howell and Hope Ryan.
Well, good morning. Broadcasting live from the St. Gabriel studio on the Boise Bench. It is a Faithful Friday edition of the program. Who do we have coming up on this October 28th?
Well, this is the final Friday of October. Another month down the hatch. But we'll have Johnny Hiller from the Society of St. Vincent de Paul. He's going to share some wonderful volunteer opportunities for the holiday season. Then we'll talk with Rebecca M. Carroll. She is the coaching educator. And Busy Shore wraps things up with her next installment of Priscilla's Porch.
Please pray for our priest, specifically today, Father John Mosier. He is at St. Charles Borromeo and St. Louise over in Salmon. And pray for vocations as well. This week we've been praying for Christopher Din, who's in his pastoral year over at St. Edward's in Twin Falls. And today is the feast of St. Simon, usually referred to as the Zealot, and St. Jude, also known as Thaddeus, and my confirmation saint. So today has a special
But
affinity.
you didn't wear your St. Jude shirt.
I didn't.
Rats.
I didn't.
Tomorrow.
Why didn't I do that?
If your favorite shirt is like mine, it's at the bottom of the laundry
It probably
basket.
is, yes. It has not been a good week for laundry for me. So anyway, we're going to hear
It's
more
all
about
good.
these two apostles later on in the program, but right now we are going to pray.
In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen.
Most holy apostle, St. Jude, faithful servant and friend of Jesus, the Church honors and invokes you universally as the patron of hope. Please intercede on our behalf. Make use of that particular privilege given to you to bring hope, comfort, and help where they are needed most. Come to my assistance in this great need, that we may receive the consolation and help of heaven as we work with our challenges. I praise God with you and all the saints forever. We promise, blessed St. Jude, to be ever mindful of this great favor, to always honor you as our special and powerful patron, and to gratefully encourage devotion to you. Amen.
Amen.
In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Amen. 2 minutes after the hour, time for Morning Light News. 34 degrees in Boise, 26 in Twin Falls, 36 up in Grangeville. Idaho Attorney General Lawrence Wasden is calling on Albertsons to delay its planned $4 billion special dividend to shareholders until a group of attorneys general and the Federal Trade Commission can finish reviewing the planned merger with Kroger. Wasden signed a letter that said the payout would take so much money out of Albertsons, equivalent to 1/3 its market value, that the company would lack the cash to compete while the merger review is pending, or if the merger failed.
Idaho law enforcement agencies expressed frustration upon learning that 3 Idaho law enforcement training academies had to be canceled. Peace Officer Standards and Training, called POST for short, offered accredited training for police, but as POST admin Brad Johnson told the media, quote, costs have gone up ridiculously for us. We feel your pain. And thus had to cancel a patrol academy, adult detention academy, and emergency communications academy for the spring. Post will address the upcoming legislature for more secure long-term funding.
Scott Connor is no longer Mountain Home Chief of Police. After more than 3.5 years, Mayor Rich Sykes unappointed Connor, effective Wednesday, with a unanimous consent of the City Council. Sykes confirmed earlier this month that Connor had been placed on paid administrative leave, saying it was an HR issue. Since then, 3 Mountain Home Police lieutenants have been reporting directly to the mayor. Connor was appointed Mountain Home Police Chief back in 2018 after serving as police chief for more than 2 years in Belen, New Mexico.
One of the fastest growing startups in the nation is found in Burley. Lease End is a company that helps customers get out of leases and maintain the equity in their vehicles. What started as a car dealership quickly shifted to a tech company. It employs 100 people and has had 400% growth each year. Owner Brandon Williams was confident that the company did not need to relocate to Utah or California, but could find excellent talent at home in Burley. And he certainly has. Traffic and weather are next.
Support for Salt and Light Radio comes from Metro Community Services. Attention low-income seniors and persons with disabilities. Are you aware of the grant Medicare Improvements for Patients and Providers Act, or MIPPA for short? Programs exist to help you pay for Medicare costs, available to all Medicare recipients. Open enrollment is October 15th through December 7th, so review your prescription drug coverage and make changes if needed. For more information, the phone number is 1-800-247-4422.
Good morning, light traffic. So a couple of things at the very north and the very south of Eagle Road. So I-84 eastbound, there's a disabled vehicle just beyond the Eagle Road southbound loop ramp. It's in the right-hand shoulder. It should just be something interesting to look at as you are driving by. But more in toward Eagle and Chinden, another disabled vehicle. Everybody check the oil in the tires before you leave this morning. That's on Eagle Road as it's heading north. It's in the right-hand lane. Your freeway commute looks particularly lovely this morning, so please drive safely as you make your way. That is your morning light traffic.
Treasure Valley weekend weather, partly cloudy with highs in the mid-50s today and tomorrow, then 60 degrees on Sunday, overnight lows mid-30s. Magic Valley, mostly sunny, highs upper 50s, lows near the freezing mark. Camas Prairie, expect mostly cloudy skies over the weekend with highs 50 to 55 and lows in the mid-30s. Right now, 38 at Our Lady of the Valley in Caldwell, 28 in Buell at Immaculate Conception, 26 in Rupert at St. Nicholas. We'll take a short break here and be back with our friends from St. Vincent de Paul as Morning Light continues on a Faithful Friday.
Have you heard the SALT podcast? SALT stands for Seeing All the Lord Teaches and features interviews that range from exploring different forms of spirituality to how Catholicism is celebrated around the world to the ways faith is expressed through media. Hosted by Trinity Baines, we bring you a fresh, new perspective to the church. Click the Listen tab of our website, saltandlightradio.com, and go to podcasts to start exploring.
Salt and Light Radio thanks Snake River Pool and Spa for their financial support as a Beacon of Light member. They also support Sacred Heart Ranch of Idaho, providing housing, support, and unconditional love to young women during life's difficult transitions. The website is sacredheartranch.org to learn more about this powerful ministry. And let Snake River Pool and Spa make it easy to take it easy with your family. Located in Boise, Twin Falls, and Meridian, or online at thespateam.com.
St. John's newly formed Catholic Culture Committee will be hosting a fall festival to celebrate All Saints' Day this Saturday, October 29th after the 5 p.m. Mass. There will be a saint-themed carnival game and chili cook-off for adults. Children are encouraged to dress as their favorite saint. If you would like to compete in the chili cook-off, please email the committee in advance at stjohnsparishlifecommittee@gmail.com. Save the date, this Saturday, October 29th, and join the festivities.
8 minutes after the hour, time to talk with our friends from the Society of St. Vincent de Paul, Southwest Idaho. And today we are joined in the St. Gabriel studio with special guest Johnny Hiller. He's going to be talking about all kinds of events coming up throughout the holiday season that you can volunteer for, because that's basically the backbone of St. Vincent de Paul, made up by its volunteers. Good morning, Johnny. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
All right. Well, we know with Thanksgiving right around the corner, I'm sure the Thanksgiving food boxes, is that a place to start, or is there something even sooner that people can start volunteering?
Well, it's funny because the event for Thanksgiving comes first, but we actually have something before that with our Christmas toy store.
Oh, okay.
So that actually, we have a call center. So every year, families can call in and register their families to shop for our toy store, and they shop for their kids 0 to 18 for free. And to do that, we need volunteers to answer calls. The cool thing about this, you can do this from the comfort of your own couch, your own home. You just need access to a computer and the internet and some sort of speaker, which most computers come with that now, and a microphone, which, once again, most computers come with now. It's basically, it's an easy process. You answer the call, you register the family, and I even made a tutorial for anybody that's a little bit hesitant or doesn't know what it looks like. There's a tutorial for that. So.
Wow.
That's excellent.
Yeah. Trying to help everyone out.
I appreciate video tutorials.
Also do I.
Particularly folks that might be like, oh, you want me to touch the computer? and you made
Am I going to break something?
Right. Yeah. Well, and you made it really easy. So that helps a lot when people are feeling nervous.
Yep, absolutely. So
Great.
There's that, which is the Christmas toy store. That opens up November 1st is the call center. So it's very important.
How many, in an ideal world, how many volunteers would you guys like to have to answer phones?
Yeah, so the call center opens up at 9 a.m. and goes to 6 p.m. and there's 3 shifts. And so it's like a 9 to 12, 12 to 3, 3 to 6. And it's not like you're answering calls every 2 seconds. It's cool. It's a call tree. So like once you get a call, you go back to the end of the line. So we have about 3 to 4 volunteers per shift. I hop on every once in a while. So you can have anywhere upwards to 5 people at a time.
Okay.
So you can go quite a bit of time between calls, which is kind of nice. So you can kind of, do your thing around the house. Oh, there's a call coming in and let me grab it. It's really not something that you have to like be glued. Now, if there's less volunteers, it's a little bit more, but we really try to supplement that. Like I'll jump on, or we have a couple other people that'll jump on as well. So
It's very sophisticated.
yeah,
So,
hey,
you go to
I
the
don't
end of
do
the
it.
line. You can finish making dinner.
Yep, we have a tech guy that does that. I'm not around for that.
Yeah.
So.
All hail the tech guys
Yes.
who make life
He's the
great.
backbone. His name's John too, so good name.
Good morning, John. We know you're still in bed, but that's okay. Shout out to you.
All right, what's next on the list?
Yeah, so after that, let's switch back for a second, back to Thanksgiving. So Thanksgiving, it starts for me the 17th, but starting the 18th of November, we're going to have different things that people can volunteer for. So basically, the event is the 21st and 22nd. For those who don't know, we hand out food boxes at Expo Idaho every year. Last year, we helped over 11,000 people. I
Oh, my
believe.
goodness.
I know it's pretty,
Amazing.
and we're expecting, like I said, probably an increase this year. But
Sure.
there's 3 easy ways that you can get involved. One, it takes a lot of food to do this. So every year we have families. It's always been a family-to-family event, and so we want to keep it that way for the most part. So to do that, you can sign up to receive an empty box, and we give you a shopping list, and you go out to the store and you buy that. You buy all the stuff, including a frozen turkey. You pack it in the box, except the frozen turkey.
Right.
And there's a direction, so it's a couple of things that you don't put in the box, so you're not like have this massive box. And then you bring that back to your parish, or there's other couple. If you're not associated with the parish, there's a couple other places you can drop it off as well as pick up. So that's all on our website, and I'll tell you where to go in a second. So that's the first way. The second way is St. Vincent de Paul itself donates 1,000 boxes because we know just to kind of help supplement that cost. And this kind of came around, I believe, during COVID, and we've kind of kept it. But people don't always have the time capacity to shop. But they want to help out, and they're like, how can I help out? Well, you can help us financially. There's a place on our website to donate financially. This year, the cost of a box it's gone from about $60 to $70
Sure.
because of inflation, and we've kind of done some shopping, and unfortunately, that's just the deal of today. So $70 for a box. You can go online and donate. And then the third way, of course, is volunteering your time. Starting November 18th and going through the 22nd, there's ways. You can pack boxes for all the churches and businesses that are associated. They bring their full boxes down that Saturday and Sunday before the event. So we need people to receive those boxes, track. There's a lot of like data collection involved to make sure that we have enough boxes,
Right.
have enough people registered, so there's not a shortage or a surplus. So it's kind of a lot of moving parts, but we need volunteers for all of that. And then the biggest thing is, where do you go to sign up and to, so you can go on our website, svdpid.org/Thanksgiving. So
Excellent.
Yep.
And anything that we go over today, you can find on svdpid.org.
absolutely. Actually, on
Go
the
under
main,
volunteer
Yep.
and find it all.
yep, and then it's actually on our main page. If you scroll past the first little picture, it says help with the holidays, and there's Thanksgiving and Christmas. So we try to make it as easy as possible.
I'm still trying to wrap my head around how I can fill a box for $70 when I can't get out of the store for less than $100. I must be shopping at the wrong places.
So it's interesting. We actually had a couple of volunteers that are awesome, and they went and did some mock shopping for us to figure out, hey, because we want to make sure we're not over asking, or so we
Right.
wanted to make sure.
Right.
So it was kind of interesting to see. We went to 3 or 4 different stores and shopped them and got
Well,
brands.
great.
So
Yeah,
pretty cool.
Yeah, because when we shop for our box, that's the only thing we shop for that day. We put the box in the cart
You just
because
fill it up.
I've got a kid who's all about the Tetris of getting the stuff in the box and where do we put the potatoes and doing that, and it's fun. It's really great for your family.
Yes.
Just make that date. Hey, this is the day we're going to shop for the box. Or if you need to plan ahead a bit, you might have 2 more pay cycles before Thanksgiving, and you can do kind of half here and half there.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a really cool family event.
I like the idea of just going online. It's probably what I will do.
There you go. I mean, we try to make it convenient for
Yeah.
everyone.
Just because of the time factor. But
Absolutely.
anyway,
Absolutely, yeah,
that's
yeah.
great that it's convenient, and $70 is not that much to feed a family and give them
Right,
that
for
holiday
Thanksgiving
joy.
dinner?
Right. Yeah.
Totally.
Includes everything you need, which
Yes.
is pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right. Well, then probably going back to the Christmas store, do you need like Santas wandering around to come December, or what kind of things are we going to need once December rolls around?
It literally piggybacks off each other. So starting the 28th of November is our toy store
Yeah.
opens. And so the cool thing, it goes from the Ada and Canyon County store, which we've done for a long time. That's still the same thing. We'll have it in Broadway, which was the same store last year, and then over in Nampa this year we have a new location, which is cool. So that's going to be from November 28th to December 17th. But we also have 2 cool pop-up locations this year. So we're trying to expand out, reach our arm out, and say, hey, where's the need? How can we fill it? And so we're going to do 2 pop-up locations, one in Mountain Home and one all the way out in Ontario. And so there's the dates are on our website, but those are both going to be like 3-day special events. Once again, we need volunteers for all of that, and there's 3 ways. Easy. Another 3 ways you can help out. Donate a toy. So the cool thing about Christmas Toy Store, for anybody that doesn't really know about that, so we try to get toys for children that are 0 all the way through 18.
Right.
You know, so a lot of these programs will stop at 12, and we try to say, hey, on, there's a bunch of teens that want Christmas too. So we try to stretch it out to the age of 18. So that's a cool thing that we do. And then also, when you donate to us in our toy store, everything stays local. You know that your toy is going to be here in the Treasure Valley, and then also that the parent comes and picks that toy out individually.
Right.
So it's pretty cool. But to help out with that, you can donate a toy. We actually have a toy list on our website, as well as the price range we're looking for. And then there's various locations throughout the Treasure Valley that we have for drop-offs. And then because we have businesses that also partner to do toy drives. You know,
I love
we
it.
have coffee shops. We have, just a ton of different and then our churches are involved, so it's pretty cool. And there's drop-off locations all on our website that you can go and drop that toy off. The other one is you can also make a financial donation if you because once again, St. Vincent de Paul, we have to look ahead and say, okay, we got toy stores, we need them filled with toys, and
Right, because that need for the teen gifts. Some parent, I have a teen. Brian has a teen. We've got lists in our mind of
They're
what we
so
could
hard
do
to
that.
buy for.
Right. But knowing that we could donate a gift card, we could donate. If you just donate cash, then you can take care of
exactly
the teens.
Yep. So donate, because we, like I said, we do cover costs, and we get toys up front and try to do things like that. So it does take, and also transportation. We're going to Mountain Home and Ontario for 3 days.
Yeah.
So just stuff like that gets tied into that. And then of course the third way is to volunteer. We need people to man the stores, the call center, which I already mentioned, but also just to at the store, it's super fun. You're helping stock shelves. You are Santa's helper kind of thing. You're helping families. Oh, you have a 12-year-old. Hey, look at this toy kind of thing, and helping restock and just checking people in and out. So it's a pretty low key but a super fun environment, and an easy way for family to come and volunteer.
That sounds amazing. Excellent. Okay. So, and if you missed anything that Johnny has said, I've listed it in our YouTube feed. You can always find it on their website.
Yep.
So there's no excuse.
Yep, right on the homepage. You don't even have to search for
something.
it.
Right. A Thanksgiving food box, a Christmas toy. Check.
So how long have you been involved with St. Vincent de Paul?
Actually, I started last September, so just over a year now.
Okay. And what was it about this ministry work that was appealing to you?
I'm gonna be honest. I fell into this job.
Okay.
I was looking for. I've been involved with various nonprofits, and I was trying to get back into it. I was out of it for a while. I was like, I really miss helping people. Fell into this job, and I fell in love with it. That's what I always say. It wasn't the job I was looking for, but it's the job that I absolutely love. It's a unique experience. The vast difference is, like, we do so much. And it's just, when you really get into it, it's amazing. And it's about what we do, but it's also just the people that support St. Vincent de Paul and the work. It's just the volunteers and the stories. I can't get over how many people, like, why are you here? Like, you can even do anything, but they choose to give their time to help others, and it blows my mind. I'm humbled every day, and then also the stories of just the people that we serve are just, it's incredible. And I just absolutely love it.
And Hope can speak to a lot of that because of her time that she spent at
I worked
St.
for
Vincent.
the State Street thrift store
Awesome.
3 kids ago. So I mean, it's been a long time.
Have you been down there lately at all?
Hmm?
Have you been in the store?
I haven't since they redid like all the
Oh,
flooring.
you gotta go.
I'm really excited.
It's incredible. It's like you walk and you're like, is this the
Yeah.
same place? It's
right,
just,
right. And I am a
beautiful.
thrifter for life.
Yeah.
Because of that experience, it's like I can't handle just the vast of the waste, but like you were saying, the stories of individuals. So I was there during Hurricane Katrina.
Okay.
Right. So let's all go back in time.
Wow.
Where I remember we helped a gentleman who relocated from, I think, South Texas, maybe even Louisiana, like get a car. And that whole journey of hearing his story and about his house and everything flooded and it was a disaster. And then he shows up in Idaho and he's an African-American man, right? Like the one of 12 that were in Boise at the time. And he was just trying to get his footing and to be part of his journey for a day. Was so cool. So I'm grateful for what you do.
Yeah, thank you. And it's the cool thing about it is it's just, it goes, they're not just a service. We're not just a service. We truly care, and to see that people truly care and they get the heartbeat and the mission of what we do, it's just so incredible.
I love it.
I love it too.
Remind people of the website where they need to go.
svdpid.org. And for holiday events, just scroll down and you'll see a big page there that says holiday.
All right. Johnny Hiller kicking us off on this Faithful Friday with St. Vincent de Paul, and make sure you check out that website. A lot of wonderful opportunities for you and your family to volunteer and get involved to help make the holidays a little bit brighter for some of those families out there in our community. We'll take a 2-minute break, be back with The Coaching Educator as Morning Light continues next.
Daily Meditations of Pope Benedict XVI, presented by Leonardo D. Philippus of St. Luke Productions.
Witness to a person. The Gospels agree in mentioning that the call of the apostles marked the first steps of Jesus' ministry. They were men anxious to know the Messiah whose coming had been proclaimed as imminent. It was enough for John the Baptist to point out Jesus to them as the Lamb of God. This is how the apostles' adventure began. It was the beginning of a direct acquaintance with the teacher, seeing where he was staying and starting to get to know him. Indeed, they were not to proclaim an idea, but to witness to a person. Before being sent out to preach, they had to be with Jesus, establishing a personal relationship with him. On this basis, evangelization was to be no more than the proclamation of what they felt and an invitation to enter into the mystery of communion with Christ. Thus the 12, taken on to share in the same mission as Jesus, cooperate with the pastor of the last times, also seeking out the lost sheep of the house of Israel, that is, addressing the people of the promise whose reunion is the sign of salvation for all peoples, the beginning of the universalization of the covenant. The Lord's command to gather the peoples together in the unity of his love still continues. This is our hope and also our mandate to contribute to this universality, to this true unity in the riches of cultures, in communion with our true Lord Jesus Christ.
This meditation is taken from Benedictus, published by Ignatius Press and Magnificat, and produced by St. Luke Productions. Learn more at stlukeproductions.com.
23 minutes after the hour, Morning Light continues on this Faithful Friday. Heard across the Salt and Light Catholic Radio Network. Joined in studio now by Rebecca M. Carroll, the coaching educator. What's our topic today?
Well, I was going to talk about avoidance and FAFSA because, Brian's
Because it
trying to
applies.
hide under the desk. But anyway, if
Elephant
you
in
still
the
haven't
room.
filled out your FAFSA, don't panic. Look up the school, see what the priority deadline is, and you have time. But what I wanted to talk about, there's been all this information coming out, how kids are testing low. and
Right.
What have you heard? Go ahead, Hope. What have you heard?
That the good news is that Catholic school students have done well. But the rest of the nation's generally in the toilet. Was it 4th and 8th grade? They were sampling 4th and 8th grade.
Yeah.
That was not
And
great.
this is the gap because of COVID?
And also the ACT and the SATs are down 3 years in a row, and they're really, below what they were before. So and it's been continual. So I in my little pea brain, I was thinking, okay, there has been this is not going to be an exercise in parents being rough with their kids or mean to their kids or, too assertive with their kids. But I have noticed that there is, even with the college kids, and I'm speaking about that in particular, but also homeschool programs and public school, the question parents will ask is, have you done your homework? How are your grades? Or they'll go in and look at the grades versus this should be an exercise in helping your child. A lot of programs, including at the college level, are hybrid. So, for example, there is a lecture. Then there is a quiz, and it's a third-party quiz program. And I'm seeing this a lot because, I do college success coaching, but I'm also teaching a class at a college at NNU, and they have this same program. So what's happening are kids are running through, and they're thinking, oh, this isn't going to count for much. And they're running through the program, and there is a strategy to this quiz program. And I think it's important that you look at, so if your student comes home from college or if they're in high school and they're taking these quizzes, and I see you're nodding your head because she knows what I'm talking about. And you can look at the grades and you can actually identify which area are you low in. Is it the test taking? Is it the quiz program? Is it that you're not attending? And it's a time to just talk about, what does it take to be successful? It's not a time to create a situation where you're getting angry or your student is feeling frustrated, because the goal is, and we are called as Catholics to educate our children and to approach it in a way as, let's look at this, let's get beyond that you're carrying a C-. The strategy is not to drop the grade, is not to drop the class. I have seen numerous kids have below a C- and start working on the areas that they need to work on. One of the key things are many students are not, including high school, including homeschooling students, because I have worked with homeschooling students, they're not reaching out to their professors or their teachers. And it's important to have that conversation. And it's a good skill set. So I really challenge people to kind of connect with your student, even if they're getting straight A's. What does the program look like behind the scenes? And not just the grades. How are they doing this program? What are the expectations? I remember in particular a student I was working with Mother of Divine Grace, and there were extra homework that the parent could correct. And they were just skipping that because they had solid, they had high B's. And I'm like, why? But then they were taking the tests and they weren't as high compared to their homework and they were really doing nice homework. But that extra, I said, you know what? I think I want you to get that. Bring that so we can balance out the test grade just in case. Well, of course, doing that little extra homework, which I believe they were offering to students to help them kind of recharge what they had learned in the lecture and in the assignment. So that little extra homework ended up helping with the test grades. So the other thing is, and especially with homeschooling students, it is a lot. And I'm going to call it busy work, but I don't want that to sound negative, because that's how our jobs are. There's busy work.
Interaction with content is what they call it for us.
Oh.
It's interaction with content.
Yeah.
Where you mess with it somehow.
And that's a lot of what we have to do in our own workplace. I mean, I would call that when I have to do my bills for my business. Interactive, but it's important to help your student in those pieces. So I feel like part of the problem, we went through a couple of years of difficulty, and we can all argue about how everything was handled. That's not the point. The point is it impacted our children greatly. So what are we missing? Are we being too easy? So I also have seen a big, I just don't want to push them anymore. They've had a couple of tough years. We all had tough years. We all have tough years. As I get older, I feel like I'm doing a do-over, because my first president was Reagan for voting, and that kind of looked what's going on now with Jimmy Carter. So this is a key factor, especially with your students in college. A lot of kids create a situation where they think they're doing well, and they may not be missing classes, but we have all kinds of stuff with social media, and they're in a dorm, and there's a lot going on, and it's really fun, and I can get that done later. So you can lay out, okay, so what are you doing? And maybe you're doing something on Thursday night. Well, let's talk about, is there a way to wait to do fun until after you've done your stuff? But to also look at what does the math course look like? What does it mean, quizzes? Because you can actually look at their grades and see, is this portal, the third-party portal that everybody's doing? And I actually am running through the course that I'm teaching a week before the other students are. So I'm actually putting out there, hey, I went through this chapter, and this is what I'm seeing, and here's some strategies to help you get through this faster. Definitely do not want to do this quiz stuff, because what happens is if you get stuff wrong, you get more questions. So I was doing number one late at night the first time I ran through it, and I'm like, when is this gonna end? So then I got up in the morning and did it, and I was a little more fresh because I'm more of a morning person, and I'm like, oh, okay. They make you rate if you feel confident on this question, and if you don't rate high, then they add on 4 more questions. So all these things I noticed, but also if you don't know the question, there's a link which brings you right to the book. So it's interesting, and I have had kids, and I personally would be doing this. I would order the hardcover book on top of the book online.
Textbooks still exist?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
I know, but it's expensive. They are expensive, but
They're-
honestly, you can track them down, and I think it's important I personally need to mark my book. I need to write notes to the side, and then when you're studying for the test, and that's the problem with everything being online, is that these textbooks are online, and then how do I study? How do I study for this test?
I've got to have something tactile. I mean, we used to buy Mary, it almost looked like a traveling suitcase. That's how big her backpack was to carry all the books. Then Nick gets up there to about the same age. I haven't seen that boy bring a textbook home in 4 years.
Yeah, everything is loaded in online, and you can be reading it online. And I still help students look at, okay, you have your online version, which is good because you can search for a term or a concept to help answer the question, but then you can open it up in a hardcover book. So I want to help solve the problem of our tanking ability to study. And I'm probably not going to sound very, it's not that homeschoolers are doing fabulously. I have seen challenges with writing. We've talked about that. So I don't think it has to be, you need to do this. I like to think about my mom. I had difficulty reading, and she got us hooked on phonics over the summer, and she made it fun. And I remember we were at our dining room table, and there were 2 of us out of 5 that definitely had struggled with reading, but we all did it. and it was fun. Actually, I remember the box came, and we, and I had a tremendous love for reading, and I think it was because of that program. But she participated with us, and I know, especially with homeschooling, you're always teaching. I mean, I know a lot of you have gotten very creative, and someone's teaching science, and you're doing field trips together, which is very, very helpful. But I think especially with college kids, it is not that we just send them off, because these kids, when they have to fail or they drop a course, they're so disconnected from their parents, who are very engaged and care about them and everything else. And it's all of a sudden it's this huge surprise that they failed 2 classes. So I'm going to challenge people to look at, okay, don't just ask for the grades. Just say, show me what do they do? How are they teaching it now?
Show me is such a great
help me understand how you have to take a quiz, because I'm never seeing you write out on a piece of paper a quiz. Help me understand how this course works. Many of them never go over the syllabi for their classes. That is key, especially with college kids. They can see, oh, this is the percentage for quizzes. And it really helps. But that's one of the things that I do and so I'm giving you trade secrets. It's really important to go over. You would not believe the stuff that's in it. And there's strategies like, okay, since you have 5 different courses, or 4 different courses, and 3 of them have these external attachments that are part of the course, they're hybrid. Let's figure out what these are, because it's not like you open up your college portal and you have a calendar that it's all in. So I actually help students take the time to color code and put all their dates in, so they can look on their phone and see, oh my gosh, well, I didn't think this week was going to be that busy, but it is. I have a couple of papers due and a presentation. So that is because I want to be part of the solution. I think we should all be part of the solution. We complain about it for a day, that it's frustrating what's going on with education, but I feel like there are a lot of possibilities and opportunities. And I don't necessarily think this quiz stuff is bad, these third-party quizzes. I mean, it was a little scary when I literally got 70%. I'm like, what? Wait a minute.
I'm the instructor of the course.
Ultimately, I got 100, but as I'm going through it, it gives you hey, it took you this long and you had to have so many, and then it was interesting to see. So I encourage you as parents to be a part of your students' education, especially at the college level, because they may not be used to these portals either. They may not understand the impact. So it is really helpful to go over. I have kids print out every syllabus that they have for every class. I like them to have that, partly because if they ever transfer for whatever reason, or like myself when I went into a graduate program, there were a couple courses that I could zip into my program, but I needed to provide the syllabus for the class. So, and it's important for you to look at, okay, this is what, in some teachers will mark grades, they'll take points off if it's late, and others, they shut the portal off. That's a very good thing to know, because many, many, many students in high school, it's like a never-ending portal, and they can hand things in, and they're getting A's, even though they do, by the end of the year, the kids are handing all the stuff in, so they don't know how to meet deadlines because it's been very lax. And it's important, even with homeschooling programs, because I've worked with several, I've seen they let you hand things in late, and you don't get that much of a point off.
Yeah, one of our students was complaining about an oceanography class, and thinking when they signed up that it would be about dolphins and whales and starfish, and all they've learned about is plate tectonics since the season. It's like, did you read the syllabus? Oh.
Right.
Read your syllabus.
So
know what the class is all about.
Right.
Is the moral of that story.
Yeah. So that's all I have. Instead of just going over how poor the scores are and la la la, I want people to think, okay, what can we do as parents as community members. As a grandparent, what can you do? And these
Right.
are the things you can do.
Yeah, an opportunity for sure, instead of a.
And it's a learning experience for you because, frankly, I've seen this flip the last 5 years. I've learned a lot. It's like, oh, okay, this is how they're doing it now.
Right, with my high schooler, I have learned a ton.
Yeah.
Just about manipulating the program and how the program works, and all of that was a huge learning curve for both of us. And so I just said, we're just going to link arms and just do it together.
Right.
Because I can't even pretend to tell you that I know how it works. So off we go.
Rebecca M. Carroll, The Coaching Educator, thecoachingeducator.com to learn more. We'll take a 60-second break and be back with news, traffic, and weather next.
Salt and Light Radio and Proximo Travel are teaming up for a pilgrimage to Our Lady of Guadalupe in Mexico City, February 15th through the 21st of next year. The all-inclusive price is $2,999 per person and includes flights from anywhere in the United States, daily mass, 4- or 5-star hotel accommodations, guided tours, breakfast, and all dinners. A $500 deposit is due upon registering. For an itinerary of the pilgrimage and to reserve your space, please visit saltandlightradio.com.
Hello, church builders. Registration is now open for the Church Builders Rise Up Gala set for Friday evening, November 4th, beginning at 5:30 p.m. This will be a fun-filled evening with live music, a buffet dinner, silent auction, raffle prizes, and new this year is a keynote speaker. For more information and ticket purchases, find the registration link at www.churchbuilders.us. That's www.churchbuilders.us.
19 minutes before the hour, time now for Morning Light News. 33 degrees in Boise, 26 in Twin Falls, 40 in Grangeville this morning. Thanksgiving is 4 weeks away, and due to the recent cases of bird flu, plus weather changes, turkey farmers are left with not as many turkeys as normal. Inflation is causing the prices of just about everything from feed to gasoline for equipment to go up, which will also impact the prices of birds this holiday season. According to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, frozen turkey inventories are 24% below their 3-year average because of the ongoing supply chain shortages.
It might be a ham-based Christmas.
It could be.
Or
Barbecue and
Thanksgiving.
hamburgers this year.
As 4 of the 5 board seats for the College of Western Idaho are up for election, the Nampa Chamber of Commerce hosted a debate for the candidates. With the problems that North Idaho College had with board and leadership, the Nampa Chamber wanted to understand the perspectives of the candidates. View that discussion on Nampa Chamber's YouTube page. All Ada and Canyon County residents may vote for the CWI board candidates.
Boise State football team continues Mountain West play at home tomorrow evening against Colorado State. 5 p.m. kickoff at Albertson Stadium. The Broncos are the only team still perfect in conference play. They'll host Colorado State, a team that the Broncos have beaten 11 straight times. Boise State won last year's matchup 28-19 in Fort Collins. Tomorrow's BSU game will be on Fox Sports 1. That's channel 146 if you have Sparklight. DirecTV subscribers, channel 219, and Dish Network, channel 150.
And those of us with rabbit ears are out of luck.
Pretty much. Turn on your radio.
Today is Chocolate Day. Just saying it makes the mouth water. But did you know that chocolate has a long, rich history? The earliest recorded use is around 1100 BC, and it is native to Central and South America. The Theobroma cacao tree grows the seeds, and they are very bitter. These seeds are fermented, dried, cleaned, and roasted as cacao nibs. These nibs are ground into, and somehow the letter changes here from cacao to cocoa. I don't know the etymology. I'll ask Chef Lou. Into cocoa mass, then liquefied into chocolate liquor. From there you have cocoa solids and cocoa butter. I had no idea the process was that complicated. So add sweeteners, fats, and sometimes milk to make your favorite concoction, and be sure to share some with Brian and I. Traffic and weather are next.
Support for Salt and Light Radio comes from Beacon of Light member Treasure Valley's Home Team.
Have you been thinking about making your move to another home? If you also want to support those who don't have the basics of human needs in Cité Soleil, Haiti, then make your best move with your local team, Treasure Valley's Home Team, who has proudly founded the Kizito Family Haiti USA, and we are serving the poorest of the poor in Haiti.
Treasure Valley's Home Team is owned by Marie Fitzgerald, MBA, and licensed with Coldwell Banker.
Good morning, light traffic. I-84 eastbound. There's a disabled vehicle just beyond the Eagle Road southbound loop ramp. It's on the right-hand shoulder. It should look lovely as you drive by. Also, a disabled vehicle on Eagle Road northbound there by Chinden. It is in the right-hand lane, so keep that also in mind as you're making your way up and down Eagle Road. But surprisingly, the freeway commute continues to look fantastic this morning. A little slowing just before and just after Meridian Road. On Eagle Road, there is slowing. I'm just going to make my map bigger so I can see at Pine. But the rest of your commute really looks great. So happy Friday. That's your morning light traffic.
Treasure Valley weekend weather, partly cloudy with highs mid-50s today and tomorrow, and then 60 on Sunday. Overnight lows mid-30s. Magic Valley, mostly sunny, highs in the upper 50s with lows near freezing. Camas Prairie, you can expect mostly cloudy skies over the weekend with highs 50 to 55 and lows in the mid-30s. Right now, 37 in Nampa at St. Paul's. It's also 37 out in Fruitland and Corpus Christi. Jerome reporting 30 degrees at St. Jerome's Parish. Let's learn more about our Saints of the Day. When we return, we'll wrap up this Faithful Friday with Priscilla Sporch next.
This is Franciscan Media's Saint of the Day for October 28th. Today we celebrate Saints Simon and Jude. Once again, we don't know much about today's saints despite their importance as 2 of the 12 men Jesus chose to follow him. Of course, we recognize one of them, St. Jude, as the patron of hopeless causes. In 2 Gospels, Simon is called the Canaanite, and in a third, the Zealot. Both terms suggest either that he belonged to a fanatical Jewish sect that brought about the revolt against the Romans, or that he was simply zealous in his faith. Jude gets only brief mentions in the New Testament, often to distinguish him from Judas. This suggests he was something of an obscure apostle, though at the Last Supper, Jude asked Jesus why, after his resurrection, he would not reveal himself to the entire world rather than to only his followers. Jesus assured Jude that he would make himself known to all who love him. Both Simon and Jude are last seen in the Gospels on Pentecost. After that, they disappear. It is believed they both made their way to Persia, modern-day Iran, where they were martyred on the same day in the 1st century. There's more about the saints along with inspiration and Catholic resources at our website, saintoftheday.org. From Franciscan Media, this has been Saint of the Day.
Priscilla's Porch is a new weekly segment on Morning Light aimed at Catholic women and the feminine genius that was given to them by God. Grab a rocking chair and a cup of tea as we share stories, wisdom, and faith. And now, the hostess with heaps of hospitality, Busy Shore.
13 minutes away from 8 o'clock as we wrap up our Faithful Friday edition.
It's Friday.
It is.
Busy. Good morning, Busy.
Yay! Good morning. What are we talking about today, Busy?
Mr. and Mrs. Dursley of number 4 Privet Drive were proud to say that they were perfectly normal. Thank you very much. And that is all it took for a 13-year-old me to absolutely fall in love with J.K. Rowling. That is the opening line of the very first Harry Potter book. And Harry Potter is what we are talking about today.
All right.
So, I am Busy Shore. I am an English major, I am a Catholic, and I am a massive Harry Potter fan. Molly Weasley is my hero. Trey is the Lupin to my Tonks. I studied Harry Potter in actual college classes. I've gone to multiple midnight release events. I've won a few house competitions. And yes, you are all shocked. I am a Slytherin. I'm sorry to disappoint.
I never would have guessed that about you. Huh.
Most people wouldn't. Yeah, most people try to say that, no, you're a Gryffindor. No, you're a Ravenclaw. I'm like, no, sorry. I'm actually too ambitious for that. I'm a little too competitive. But in actual real life, Slytherins don't cheat. We're just that good. That's why we win.
Okay. So have you caught flack over the years for being a Catholic and being a Harry Potter fan? How do the two reconcile? I guess there are some out there that say you have to be one or the other. You can't be both.
There are a lot. I have not usually gotten flack for it, largely because my Harry Potter fandom way preceded my conversion to Catholicism. And as an English major, I have a pretty solid soapbox about why I like Harry Potter. So I've actually been wanting to talk about Harry Potter for a long time. And I've been kind of holding myself back because I know that it's a hot button issue for a lot of people. And so that's what I want to address today is some of those hot button issues. There's been a lot of talk ever since the books came out and they became so popular. A lot of misunderstandings and confusion. And so I could talk for weeks about all of the different things with Harry Potter and pick it apart and all of the symbolism and all of the great language and it's masterful and the characters and all of this. But I really want to, we have so little time today that I'm going to focus on, I'm going to at least start with the hot button issues. So the first big hot button issue that people always talk about is it's real magic, it's spells, it's witchcraft, you're summoning demons. Oh, okay. So I'm actually going to redirect most people. If that is your concern, please go Google Jimmy Akin's Mysterious World, episode 188. Jimmy Akin, Mysterious World, 188, where he talks about demons. And he talks, I mean, it's like an hour and a half episode. It's really nice and long. It's incredibly detailed. Jimmy Akin is possibly the smartest person on the planet. And so he goes into a lot of detail about when the criteria for when we look at demon involvement, criteria for witchcraft, criteria for exorcisms, like all of this stuff. And if I'm remembering right, he does very obliquely actually address literally the Harry Potter issue with summoning demons. But in summary, bottom line, if you want to summon demons, you can do so with pretty much anything. If that is your goal, then yes, you could go take a children's book and summon demons. You could also do it with Shakespeare or Wordsworth poetry. And if you are intending to summon demons in Latin class, you could probably do that in Latin class. If you are not intending to summon demons and you are not playing around with a thing that is inherently designed to summon demons, like tarot cards and Ouija boards, you are not going to accidentally summon demons. This is me summarizing from Jimmy Akin. This is not just my opinion. That view puts us like totally at the whims of demons, basically. It gives them way too much power and way too much credit, okay? People talk about, there's the spells are real spells, they're real spells. Okay, I went to public high school. I had friends, like really good friends that were actually into Wicca, that would bring their spell books to art class, and I've actually read real Wiccan spell books, and you know what? They look like poetry books, guys. And I've also done Latin studies, and so I've read Latin books, and you're not, I mean, I've seen Latin declensions. Almost all of the spells in Harry Potter that you run into are terrible Latin, okay? So there's a spell to fix your glasses. It's Oculus Reparo, which is just enough similar to Latin that if you hear the word Oculus Reparo, you can kind of sort of parse out I repair glasses, or at least something to do with eyes. Okay, fine. But if you actually took that to a Latin class and asked them to parse it, to parse out the conjugations and the declensions, they'd be like, this is ridiculous. It doesn't work. Stop it. You're stupid. Okay. Another one of my favorite spells in the book is literally ridiculous. Yeah. Like I mean, you can walk around your room all you like and wave any stick you want anywhere in the corner and say ridiculous as many different ways as you can come up with, and you're still not going to summon a demon. You are going to look ridiculous. Okay. Another one of the favorite spells in the book is Expecto Patrona, which again, bad Latin, more or less kind of sort of gets to I expect or await a guardian. And it's a spell that if you're being basically imagine if you're being attacked by depression. If depression is embodied as a monster and it's coming at you and it actually has the power to literally destroy your life right now, this is the spell that you use. And in practice, it's kind of like the St. Michael prayer. So if you are pulling up words, and this same spell feeds on happiness, like that's part of casting the spell, is you bring your mind to a place of calm and happiness and good memories and that there's hope in life. And then you have this spell and it helps you essentially fight the depression monsters. Okay. So if you're not summoning demons by saying the St. Michael prayer, you're not going to be summoning demons by saying Expecto Patronum in your living room as trying to remind yourself to be happy and not give up hope in life. Okay. So that can, if you're concerned about witchcraft and stuff in Harry Potter, there's that. My final note on that, there is one thing in the entire series and all 7 books that does actually resemble a real spell. And that is towards the end of book 4. It is the most evil moment in the entire books. It is really, really dark. It's in English. It is in the midst of a really traumatic scene. So again, this is, and I'll talk about the genre in just a minute, so I'll get there. And yeah, as a writer, if I was writing something that was that dark that I wanted to make that evil, I would probably look at actual spells as some inspiration. And so, yeah, I could see how that one thing could maybe be inspired by how actual witchcraft happens. But it's the bad guy doing the evil thing. So I don't see how you could scupper the whole series. Anyway, so that's that. Moving on, because I could talk about that for 20 minutes. So I'm going to shift really quick to the genre of Harry Potter, because how we assess literature starts with it in the context of the genre in which it is. And this is one place where Harry Potter is absolutely brilliant. There is a thing in literature called the Bildungsroman, which is a German term that means the coming of age. So it's a story about, a book that follows a character's journey from childhood to adulthood. The classic example is David Copperfield by Dickens, that literally follows this boy from birth to the end of his life. And it's like one of the biggest books ever. And I love Dickens, but that one's kind of boring. So if you made it through David Copperfield, kudos to you, you get an award. So Harry Potter is, as an entire story arc, it is a Bildungsroman because it follows the journey of this child from, birth to adulthood. It is also, though, a Bildungsroman in the sense that the genres of the books age as well. So your first couple of books are straight up, no qualms about it, absurdist children's fantasy, okay? And the absurdist is really, really important because if you try to read these books with your logic adult brain on, you are going to go absolutely crazy and throw the book across the room and be like, these people are all idiots, what's going on here, this is stupid, right? Okay. You will also say that to Little Red Riding Hood's mother when she tells her daughter to go walk through a path through the forest that is so dangerous that you can't leave the path. What are you doing not going with her? Okay. All of the old fairy tales, you go read the old fairy tales and you try to read those with your logic adult brain on, and it drives you insane up the wall. Okay, Harry Potter is exactly the same. But just like fairy tales, the absurdity is a storytelling trick that sort of draws you in. It kind of makes you kind of laugh, and it kind of helps shed away all of the distractions for you to focus on the lesson of the story, right? It kind of helps you get kind of fun, you kind of relax, it gets funny, it helps you engage with it, right? As the books progress, though, as the characters get older, they deal with more and more adult themes. And so the genre goes from children's absurdist fantasy fiction to preteen fantasy fiction that is a little more dramatic and not quite so absurd, to young adult dramatic action adventure fantasy. And then, by the last 3 books, there's a lot of things that are dark. And so with that, I definitely, absolutely recommend parents read the books before you give them to your kids, especially books 3 and up. 1 and 2, I see almost nothing in those 2 for most parents to be like, you need to read this and be very concerned about. The first 2, there might be, if your child is very, very sensitive for things that are scary, maybe. There are a couple of intense moments. Book 3, again, gets more dramatic. It deals a lot more with angst. It deals a little bit more with identity. But then up and beyond that, read it before you give it to your kids. But there's so much there. And it looks like we're out of time already.
Yeah, we are. We went about 30 seconds left if you've got some final thoughts before we let you go.
Okay, so my final thought is that I don't have time to truly unpack is that why this book is amazing. This series is bookended by Christ figures, people. The symbolism in this series, the Christ symbolism is packed so deep and so rich. It's every medieval symbol of Christ that there is packed into these books. And the story literally opens with and closes with someone voluntarily walking to their death to sacrifice their life to protect others. And that sacrifice has tangible, literal power to protect the people that they die for.
Wow, that is a really good tease to set up next week's episode.
Thanks, Busy.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you so much, Busy, and we will talk to you again next Friday.
Excellent.
All right, God bless. That's going to wrap up Faithful Friday. Later today, you can go to saltandlightradio.com, click on the Morning Light page, and hit podcast if you missed any of today's segments or previous programs.
Watch the show live on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Questions, comments, or prayer intentions, we'd love to pray with you and for you. Send us an email, morninglight@saltandlightradio.com. We'd like to thank our guests today, Johnny Hiller, Rebecca M. Carroll, and Busy Shore.
Join us next time for our Passionately Pro-Life segment. Eric Meyer, he's a local author, going to be sharing his book, The Catholic Company Man, sort of a bonus Catholic book club for you on Monday.
Nice.
And Dr. Scott French from the Maggia Center.
So join us for a marvelous Monday edition of Morning Light, 7 a.m. Mountain, 6 a.m. Pacific, St. Maximilian Kolbe.
Pray for us. Saints Simon and Jude.
Pray for us. St. Gabriel the Archangel.